You've landed inside the bubble with Harli G, a podcast for the superwoman. I am a mother, wife, and ambitious career woman who realized one day that part of me was unfulfilled. I launched this platform to help other women discover and walk in their ultimate purpose through shared stories of trials, fear, dreams, courage, grief, and triumph. No matter who you are or where you're from, there's purpose in your story. Insiders, Inside the Bubble with Harli G is sponsored by BetterHelp. As a partner of this episode, listeners can access the BetterHelp link located in the show notes to receive 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp and get matched with a therapist who will listen and help. Therapy has been such an integral part of my purpose journey, and I'm sure it will benefit your journey as well. Go to BetterHelp, that is BetterHelp.com/inside the bubble to get started. This episode is also brought to you by Farmers Insurance. When was the last time you reviewed your insurance policy? Like who does that? Or when was the last time you could call your insurance agent directly with an emergency? Well, I was actually able to do that. 2 years ago, my garage caught on fire, and I was able to pick up the phone and talk to the one and only Austin Brummett on the phone immediately. There's nothing like peace of mind knowing that you are talking directly to the agent. So my friends at the Austin Brummett agency would love to hear from you and provide you with the same amazing service that they provided me. Give them a call at 678-402-8262 or email them at abrummett@farmersagent.com. Lastly, are you thinking about buying a car but dreading the process? I will tell you that's why I have a husband, so he can handle all of that. But Car Official is changing the game. Car Official believes the car buying process should be transparent, informative, and even, wait for it, enjoyable. Their experts are here to guide you, provide you with clear information, and honest advice. No fancy jargon, no pressure, just a helping hand every step of the way. Whether it's understanding your financing options, getting clarity on fees, or simply finding the perfect car for your needs, they've got you covered. Visit them today and see the difference for yourself at 770-627-4296 or at www.carofficial.net. Welcome to season 3 of Inside the Bubble with Harli G. This is so amazing to be here, and this season we're really going to get into what happens when you're walking on that journey to purpose and you have to lean on your faith. So my guest today is Poppy. Poppy has actually been doing my hair for 20-something
Well, you did the
years. Listen, it's been, we're like, what, 25, and you've been doing my hair for like 20 years. But yeah, so dear, I mean, you're a sister, a friend, all of that to me. And so, Poppy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I actually started out, well, let me back up. My mother is a hairstylist. Mm-hmm. She, what they call a kitchen. So she did like braids.
I've never heard that before.
It's like an at-home hairstylist.
Okay.
So she did braids and weaves. I have a cousin that did hair. So I came from a family of people in the beauty industry and went to a technical high school to get my license. I was licensed right after high school. Worked with some really great people in my hometown. So I've always really attracted great people. So yeah, moved to Atlanta in 2000 from Erie, Pennsylvania, and I have been here for a very long time.
You do the math. Right.
Telling my age real good. Right. But yeah, so I've been I've been in the hair industry for probably 25 years, but I've pivoted out and taken a hiatus here and there, life, starting a family,
yes,
all the things, but just coming full circle, I think that everything, all the stops on my journey really do tie into me coming full circle and having this sit down with you, because I feel like we have conversations all the time that are like podcast worthy in the salon, right?
They are.
So yeah, I had a little practice.
Yes.
That's not with the camera.
There needs to be like hairdresser confessionals. You know how they used to have like taxi?
Sure, they probably
taxi confessions.
Ooh.
Hairdresser
Yeah,
confessions.
you're going to need to cover up people's faces and muffle their voices because it get a little real.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I feel like if for nothing else, being a hairstylist and coming from family members that were in the beauty industry, I think the biggest part for me has been taking and really separating my identity from my acts of service or what I do as a career. So
I love that you say that, because that actually ties in to my first question. Okay. So what do you feel is your purpose when it comes to serving others?
That has been a weaving road. So initially, I feel like my purpose has been, when someone comes into my salon, sits in my chair, is to beautify them. Most of the time, people come in and they feel a certain way, maybe not at their best, and leaving after after I've given them whatever hair care service, they usually feel better. But it's not just the hair, a lot of times it's the conversation. A lot of times it's just the sisterhood and just a listening ear and the compassion and all that. So for me, my purpose has been knowing how to hold space for people, making sure that my cup isn't empty, making sure that I have enough harmony in my life to still allow people to come into my service, because it's like everybody that you're around, people's energy, and we all talk about energy nowadays, but it really is like a tuning fork. And so you can come into a space and say, for instance, you come home and maybe one of your kids isn't feeling well or sick. You could be maybe in a certain mood, happy, whatever, and you come home and then immediately you go into either trying to fix it. You don't feel great. So I feel like that goes for any instance that we're all like tuning forks. And I think the purpose for my purpose is to take care of me internally, take care of my energy, take care of the harmony, keep harmony and balance in my life. That way that I can show up for people in the best way and in the capacity that I know how. And sometimes I have to tell people that I'm not in a space to listen to anything heavy, because a lot of times people do need therapists. And so along my journey, I've had to learn how to do that in the most compassionate way. So I'll find ways to do it. But
and we talked about that a little. We talked about that the last time we met. And it was about, throughout this tenure of doing what you do, serving women, serving individuals, letting their outward beauty reflect how they are in the inside, because I feel like that's kind of what you do. You've had to be a counselor, a therapist, a coach, a brother, a sister, a mama, a daddy, a child, a daughter, a cousin. Like, you've had to be so many things. And talk to us about, how did you get to the point to understand that, you know what, I have to recognize that I'm not in a space to hear what you're bringing in today, but still serve you and give you the experience that you need, right? And because you got to a point where you were just like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So how was that journey for you?
Burnt out, taking time away, and unpacking even my own traumas, and dissecting and separating the things that were my issues from childhood, later in life, a divorce, also losing my firstborn child. So when I was able to take that time away, I was able to just be with myself and just unpack a lot of my journey. And then once I was able to unpack a lot of my journey and understand and heal myself and get more knowledge because I actually pulled away and I went and got my coaching certification because I thought, I really want solutions for women because people come in my chair and a lot of times it's some of the similar issues, relationship, stuff like that, work, whatever. People wanting to know what their purpose is and that kind of thing. But once I started doing my own healing and going on my own journey and even going through my own coaching certification, I came out on the other end a lot better. However, I realized there's a difference between a person needing a coach and a therapist. And then also, once I came out and I really saw myself, the more harmonious version of me, I knew that I needed to protect that. And there's something that I learned more recently about, and it goes back to the tuning fork. Once you embody a certain level of like wholeness, healing, and being settled in yourself, it's contagious. And so there are some days where I can listen and allow a person to vent and have compassion. And there are some days where I don't have the energetic capacity to take that on. And I'm honest with people. Like sometimes so it's just intuition. So for instance, and I can read people's energy a lot better since I've gotten to know myself. And so sometimes I'll just put certain things on, like certain music or certain TV shows. Like for instance, I have a family member that comes and she's the person that everybody goes to and vents and dumps on. So then she comes in and she has all this heavy energy on her that she doesn't even really realize, but she's everybody's person. And for years I would let her come in and unload. And so I remember two things that I did. One, I said to her when she was starting to share with me and walk through somebody told her something really, really heavy that happened to them. And I could just tell as she was loading it up that was going to be too much for me to handle. And because at that point, I know sometimes when a person tells a story, you're reliving it, but then I'm also reliving it with you. And if something is a trigger, so I know where my triggers are. So I remember saying to her, I said, hey, I kind of know where you're going with that. That's going to be too heavy for me to process. I would rather you not share that. And she was like, oh, okay, I understand. And then immediately I put on TD Jakes because she's a Christian. And so I was able to at least create a space for her where her cup was able to be filled, but not by dumping on me and not by me trying to talk at her. And there's just this synchronicity where I'm just intuitive enough to know, like, I put that on, that works. I have another situation where a client came in and I ended up putting on like some murder mystery just because she's an extrovert and she comes in and she pulls. There's a certain part of me that, yes, I embody a certain energy that's a lot calm and peaceful. Like, me, it's candles lit. That's a vibe. That's my vibe. A lot of times I'll have classical music playing in the background, or I'll play it in my own ear to keep my energy at a certain space. So I just pay attention to people. And now, instead of me trying to fix people or trying to go in and be a person's counselor, ear, or journal, now I just I read the room. I read the room. And then there are conversations. There's times where, we have our conversations. Like when I saw you the other day, you came in, you tell me all about everything that's going on, all these good things. And I'm there for it. And then I think within the hour, we got it out, checked out. I probably put my headset on. And I'll tell people too, I've learned how to be transparent and politically correct. So one thing I'll say is sometimes I'm like, hey, listen, so my energy is feeling a little low right now. I'm going to put my headset on and check out. Do you need anything before I kind of check out? And because it's usually like a long service, like extensions, which takes a couple of hours. And typically people are like, no. And so I'll dip out when the energy is heavy. And for me, I've just learned different things to harmonize my own energy, which is like classical music. I'll listen to Frank Sinatra, stuff like that. So I've just had to learn me. And once I learned me and I've embodied a certain baseline, I'll either spread it out as contagious or I'll figure out a way to either like give you what I think may assist you or pacify you,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully I answered that.
It sounds like you've really been able to tune in to, like you said, protecting your peace, protecting your energy and your harmony and what that looks like. And there's a way that you can do it and still be respectful and mindful of individuals. And so you've really been able to tap into that. And that's going to continue to evolve, right? As you go through different phases of life.
Very true. Yeah. And it has. It looks different in different seasons.
So for you, how did you discover your purpose?
Something about asking people about purpose, it feels so intimidating. Because I'm gonna tell you why it feels intimidating for me, because it feels like it needs to be very cut and dry and very linear.
Absolutely not. Didn't mean to cut you off, but absolutely not, because I believe that purpose evolves. So that means it's not going to be one size fits all. And if you're not growing in purpose, how are you evolving? So it can't be, for me, I think that it can't be this cut and dry thing. It has to be something that's constantly growing, moving, evolving. But yeah, so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead.
No, okay, so ask
for
me-
you,
ask me a
for
question
purpose. So how
Run
did
that
you
back.
discover? Run that back. How did you discover your purpose?
In layers. So definitely during the hiatus. So I've had like 2 long stints of just not working in the hair industry and being in my own space and my own energy. I am a mom of a 12-year-old little girl, so she has helped too, because I can see my reflection in her and I see what she either mirrors back to me or what she needs. So I feel like I discovered my purpose once I went in and did a lot of internal healing and energetic work. I grew up by faith as a Christian, but I also have dabbled in other modalities like meditation from different cultures and energy healing and things like that. So I discovered my purpose by going on my own journey of healing, unpacking, getting to know me, and getting to the core of who I am and my authentic self. And then once I got into that space and place and being able to steady myself, because you've seen me in certain times where you've come to me and maybe I didn't have the right words of finesse to tell you like, hey, I really don't have the bandwidth, but I still needed to work. And so my energy may not have been the most pleasant to be around. So being able to know how to balance that out and doing that inner work and going on those journeys to figure out my internal dialogue and be grounded in who I am, that's how I found my purpose. So, long story short, digging deep, meditation, spending time alone, going into my heart space, a lot of prayer. And one of the things that I do too, as I talk to God, like I'll ask questions at night before I go to bed. And God gives me dreams and answers them in dreams. A lot of times in the morning, right before I'm waking up, and that state, I forget which brainwave state it is, where you half wake, half sleep. A lot of times I'm just talking to the Holy Spirit. I'm talking to God, and I'm asking questions. And being able to have that direct connection to source, to me, has helped me get closer and cleaner of what my purpose is. And like you said, it evolves in the season. And so right now that I feel like my purpose in this season is to, like I said, keep a really steady, harmonious, energetic stance and becoming more and more my authentic self and being more and more unapologetic about who that is without infringing or imposing on other people. Quick example, I joined this entrepreneur group for girls, and it's social. So we went to this happy hour just like 2 days ago. And so it's very diverse. So we were around the table, all these girls, and just, talking. And it's a little bit small talk. So at the end of the night, we went to a new spot. One girl who wasn't as chatty, the host brought her over to sit with us. And we were like, yeah, come on. So she sat with us. That group of girls left. Us two went and met some other girls. So we were there and we played some game, Would You Rather, or whatever. Or no, we played the Never Have I Ever. I'd never played that game before.
Really?
We played that game. It was kind of fun.
I actually played that game with my husband.
I like it. It's cute. So, but wait, here's the funny thing, to my point. Sometimes you can see people's closed-mindedness or judgment. And so one person said something and another person was like, well, why would you be like that? And I don't understand. Oh, that's what it was. One of the girls, her ethnicity, I won't share, she says she doesn't date her ethnicity. And then the other girl who's another ethnicity was like, that doesn't make sense. That's just like me saying I wouldn't date my ethnicity. And I was cringing. I'm like,
yeah.
Finding that place of allowing a person to be autonomous, like allowing her autonomy, allowing her to say that, hey, I don't. And then she gave a little bit. She was like, I grew up around them and it was a lot of toxic stuff, so I'm just not attracted.
But she didn't have to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, shit. So, not sure why I went into that.
Authenticity and making sure that
You're not offending other people.
Yes.
Like, it's okay that you date your race, and you would never say you don't date somebody in your race.
Yes.
That's fine. But allow her the space to say, no, I'm not attracted. She said she wasn't attracted to him. And then the girl was like, well, I'm attracted to that. I'm like, but why we gotta argue about?
Right.
She allowed and you allowed. But it was interesting. I feel like years ago I probably would have sided with the other girl, like, what you mean? And it was just, again, back to even a part of purpose is just having compassion for people's opinions and their story and their life and their whys, whether they explain them to you or not.
Like you said, it's allowing them to be who they need to be. It's allowing them to be authentic. She doesn't want to do.
She wasn't spewing hate. She wasn't saying like I hate them or anything. She was just like,
hurting anybody.
Toxic.
Yeah.
So
and listen, I'm not dating no Haitians. So that's just me.
But
no.
You're hilarious.
I was not.
I need you to know that's exactly how she was about. The other girl was like, but what you mean? Because they're kind of fine.
What I'm not doing with my life is that.
Okay.
Okay. So here we are.
But you're not my only Haitian friend who said that. Okay, but can I cut that? They might want to cut that out. I'm going to take a sip at this point.
I think this should be like a support group for us. I'm just saying.
There's that.
Right. Okay. Moving on. Okay. So, and you mentioned this like in your journey when you were really trying to tune into yourself and digging. But what does faith mean to you?
What does faith mean to me? Faith means bypassing my brain's logic and the linear fashion and way I think, and knowing that God's source has countless ways to get you to the other side of whatever the thing, the place, whatever is in between you and your now that doesn't look like it's possible. So it's bypassing my brain's linear thinking and logic. Because there's miracles. There's so many routes that would not make sense. The Bible even says, my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. So that's what faith is. It's telling my brain, it's okay that we don't know how or when.
That's what we tend to. We want to control. We want to know the answer. We want to know if I put A and B together, I'm going to get C. And it's everything logic.
And there's layers to it. There's foundations to that. Like, yes, there are things that need to be logical and you need to think. But then I feel like as you go further along your journey in purpose and whatever service you're providing or rendering to humanity, you're going to have to bypass the logic and the linear fashion.
Anything but logic, actually.
Yeah, because there's the quantum field. Now, we're going to go there. No, and we're so connected because it may just be, God may be telling you go here or do that, and it has nothing to do with the thing.
Or you
and
don't
then
think so.
Just because you're the linear thinking,
exactly,
you can't connect the dots. So my faith is definitely bypassing the way this brain be trying to connect these dots and make it make sense. And if the math don't math,
the math ain't mathing.
Yeah, you got to get into that 0 point.
Right.
0 point field. Get into the nothing space.
So thinking about that, taking that, how do you think faith plays a role in purpose?
That's good. Because I go back to when I think about purpose and we talked about that. And I want it to be so black and white and cut and dry and purpose be this one thing.
You need to bypass the logic.
I am. I'm gonna use
your own words. Use your own words. Yes.
I believe that faith plays so purpose. So say I'm gonna say for you, say for instance, when you were before you even. I remember the day you were talking about the podcast and wanting a podcast, you were at the salon and another girlfriend too, and y'all were talking about your dreams together.
Yep.
And so I think that the way faith plays a part in purpose is when you know that thing inside and you don't know maybe how to get there. So here's maybe a tangible. your business manager. She the faith, because
She the faith.
she the bridge. She
business manager.
Right?
You've been called the faith.
You're the faith.
Oh,
She's
you're
the
the
faith.
faith. You're the faith. Okay.
But
Yes.
but that's like an example. It's like you thought about it that day, or you had thought about it. You felt comfortable sharing it. Another person talked about their dreams, and you both were talking about your dreams. And I would even go as far as to say, clearly you had to have faith, and of course the know-how of getting the business manager, because that person still hasn't done, and it's 3 years later. So also you have to be pretty clear on what your purpose is, and you, the way you are, your energy, and how you spread love, and how people you've never met a stranger, how people feel good around you. You do have the gift of gab. You're walking in it, in one of the layers of it, or one of the facets. You know, it's being displayed, it's being shared. And so I feel like the faith you had to have like faith in knowing that, hey, I can work this job. I could be a mom at four who have all these activities. I have a husband, I have sisters, parents. You're active in you have a lot of relationships and wear a lot of hats. You gon' need faith to do that and birth this podcast. And then we have this whole production here. So we went from having a conversation in a salon, and it sounded real cute.
It did.
To thing
It
is
was
in
really
third
cute.
season. So that feels like faith and purpose together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you clearly you must have been knew about what your purpose was.
Listen, but I be having these conversations with baby Jesus. Like we need to talk, because this right here, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
6 pounds 7 ounces of him.
Did you say 6 months?
Yes.
Oh, the baby.
Because
the baby.
The baby Jesus.
Gotcha.
The baby Jesus. And I was just like, but you're absolutely correct as far as that faith piece, because if you don't have it, it is the absolute foundation. It is what's, without it, for me, without it, nothing can happen. And it's like you said, bypassing that logic, because I could have said, well, I don't know anything about podcasting. Well, I'm going to have to learn this. Well, that's going to be too much. Or there could be a million excuses as to why I would have not been able to do it.
You could talk yourself out. You could have talked yourself out of it.
Literally,
Yep.
in just a second, right? And it was just like,
But you are a
no.
woman of faith, and you always have been that.
Exactly. So if this is my true purpose, and you said it is, then you're gonna have to take it, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Don't look like it.
Exactly. Well, not
But at the time,
I learned
yeah.
As I go. But yes,
And the action piece, I feel like you definitely took the action piece with hiring the proper people to set you up and connect you with the proper team.
That's one thing that I always prayed for, is put the right people on this journey for me at the right time. Because one thing that I've struggled with in the past is that, like you said, I don't meet strangers, and everybody's my friend, and everybody, I want to take the whole village with me. And I've had to learn the hard way that people in your life have seasons. Some are longer, some are short. And I have struggled with letting go once it's past that season. And so I tell them, I said, equip me to recognize that some seasons have come to an end, but put the right people with me at the right time.
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's good. This is why we're on season 3.
You said, oh yeah, our season is real long. Like, our season just keeps going. It's like Law and Order SUV. It's like what, on this like 20 something season? Yeah, that's us. And they keep renewing it. So that's just us. Okay. Right. We're a whole TV show. So can you share a recent experience that you went through that you felt tested your faith?
I feel compelled. It's not even, it's nothing recent that has tested my faith. I've done a lot of inner work and have definitely learned to ask God, like, okay, why is this showing up? And I have a bigger understanding of knowing that we call things into our life to strengthen us and to build character, and for us to understand life more and have more compassion, and it's the variety of coming to earth and all this. So I can't say anything recent that has tested my faith. I will go back to one of the biggest pivotal things that almost made me be like, I'm cool on God. That was when I lost my first child at 35 weeks. We had the baby shower, the whole thing. I'm sure you were there. But I'm going to back up why, because several women have lost children, miscarriages. Mine was a stillbirth, meaning I carried her pretty much to term, and she passed away inside the womb due to a blood clot. But back up, the thing that shook me to my core was, before I even got pregnant with her, I was told that it was going to be hard for me to have children. I was diagnosed with PCOS. I went to a fertility PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. So it's a syndrome. It can the symptoms can vary between women. It's connected to your endocrine system. So you could be overweight. You may not ovulate, or you may not produce mature eggs. Okay. So I didn't ovulate every month, and I didn't produce mature eggs. Went to a fertility specialist, actually had my tubes flushed. One of my tubes was blocked. So did all the things, went and was put on like metformin, which they don't do anymore. It's kind of like illegal. It's for people who are diabetic because they were trying to balance out my glycemic levels. So I went and did all these things for months. And I read the book, Supernatural Childbirth. I was really heavy into, very devout. My husband at the time, we were in church like 3 days a week. So there was a part of me that felt very entitled to not have to go through something like that. How? All the things.
Right.
The faith. I changed my diet. I read the Supernatural Childbirth. I went to the doctors. I did all the things. I stood on my head.
You checked all the boxes.
And then here's the thing. End up getting pregnant and didn't know till like 7 weeks later. And all these synchronicities. My doctor who delivered my baby, she became my client. It was all these things. So I go and get past all the first trimester, the pictures, decorating the room. I'm a Christian. How dare something like this happen to me? And fast forward, and I'm going to spare some of the details of it, but fast forward to being in the hospital 2 days after we couldn't find a heartbeat. I did not dilate, so I had to get a C-section on top of that. And actually, on top of getting a C-section, I had to be put under general anesthesia because my body was rejecting the epidural. So I had to go under and then come back, wake up, and meet my deceased child. And the people who took care of my daughter, myself, and my ex-husband were so loving. And it was still so much. God's love and favor was all over us, because I've heard stories after the fact of women who've lost their child and they're in labor and delivery, and they're seeing family members coming with balloons to celebrate and take you out the game, right? They shipped me, but I'm still groggy, whatever. Shipped me to like another part of the hospital where women recover from like hysterectomy. So I wasn't around it. God's grace though. So over there, and so this might have happened like Wednesday, Thursday. So by Sunday, my ex-husband pulled up our pastor on to watch Sunday service, and I looked over like, I'm cool on that. And I said it. I was like,
You
where
did?
was God at? No.
Wow.
I meant that. I was so mad at everybody.
Yeah.
Where was God at? Because I prayed over my child. And
I did all the things.
I did all the things to even get her. She was a miracle child, miracle pregnancy. And I always had this weird, like, which I heard a lot of women have, but I had this weird panic and fear of like something happening. So I did all this, and I still ended up without no baby, without a living child. I didn't get to see her eyes open. So there in the hospital, say to my husband at the time, I was just like, I don't believe that. And he was talking about faith and the blood of Jesus. I was like, it didn't work for me. He looked over at me. He said, he calls me by my government name. He said, Paulette.
Your government name.
Paulette is my government name. I go by Poppy. He said, Paulette, if we don't have faith, we don't have God, we don't got nothing. And it snapped me out of it. Had he not, though, I would have went there. My brain would have been like, this stuff don't work. But I have so much evidence that it does. But I also have some real big evidence that something ain't work. So that, I feel like, tested my faith the biggest. And so through that, it snapped me out of shutting down. However, it took probably about 9 more months. And then some dear friends who were a husband and wife couple, they're pastors, they rolled up on me. They came to the house, and I was ready to, like, what y'all gonna say? What y'all gonna tell me? Because I mean, me and God, we talk.
Yes.
However, I still feel a way about some things.
Yeah.
I feel like even you had like reached out to me like, it's okay, you don't question God, and I probably snapped on you like, yeah, I'm a question God.
Yeah.
So fast forward, they came by, and like I said, I was ready. Girl, they was ready too. And they came in, and I just was like, I just want to know what they're gonna say. It wasn't what they said. What I realized at the time, at that point, there was a spirit of grief on me. So you know how you go to church or any type of, I guess, religious institute, there's usually like praise and worship and songs. There's a frequency that they're trying to raise your frequency to even hear what maybe the pastor has to say, or
like the
priming
prerequisite for the main course.
And it's opening up, breaking up the weak, the thoughts, the mind, and all that. So they came in and they played some hill song. Like I said, I don't even really remember what they said because I was waiting for them to say something that I was going to combat them with. But so yeah, that tested my faith. They came. My ex-husband kind of broke it quickly with letting me know, like, what else you got?
Yes.
And then coming in and breaking the spirit of grief off of me and just opening up to being like, I don't know why this happened. And then also knowing that I'm not the only one. And then also realizing that how dare I feel entitled to not experience parts of life that aren't real pretty. How dare I? How dare I? How dare I? So that wasn't recent, but that was a big one. That one almost took me out the game. You know, I feel like it's been 14 years. So this is maybe last year I could tell the story, and this is probably the second time I've told the story and hadn't cried in 14 years. Yeah. Yeah, I'm at peace, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's okay. I feel like in those moments, in those situations, it is okay to question. Because he wants you to, so that he can show you.
I like that. And that's exactly it. So the
like,
how dare I is like,
exactly.
Don't feel like it can't happen to you or you know. But yes, question so that you can get to the deeper layers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you never know who is watching your testimony, who you are witnessing to without even knowing.
Oh, I need to put a bow on it. Here's the bow.
Okay.
This is the part that I got from it, because there's always got to be a takeaway. Blood clot in her cord, 2 clots. One closest to where it was attached, the umbilical cord, the placenta, and close inside the cord. What I got from it in prayer was she saved my life. Because afterwards I went and got tested, and I had some type of clotting disorder during pregnancy. So it felt like, to me, she saved my life. And then moving forward, getting pregnant again with my daughter. So I was able to go to a certain specialist, and I had to take like blood thinners. So I had to give myself a shot like twice a day. Mm-hmm. And I was able to have a healthy daughter after that.
You know, oftentimes we go through situations and we question because we want to know why. And you may still find that you're still unpacking it through different portions of it will come and impact you at different times or different phases in life, and you'll be taking a piece from it and unpacking that. But I think it's going to happen at the right time.
It does.
Right.
So I'm going to add one more thing to that, and I'm trying to be careful not to share other people's lives in a way that makes them feel uncomfortable. But a couple of years later, maybe was it a year later? I hadn't had my second daughter yet. We have family members who lost twins. Same way, the cords tangled up. We immediately got on a plane and was able to be there and support them and love on them. And I heard T.D. Jakes say this years ago. He was talked about how there's nothing like a person who's been through what you're going through to help you through it or take care of you. He was saying how when his mom was in a hospital, I think she was had cancer, and there was a nurse who took care of her, and he remember stopping and like complimenting how compassionate she was, and the nurse was like, "Oh, I had the same type of cancer before." So I just feel like if for nothing else, we were able to love on those family members and be there for them and give them permission to handle the situation the way they wanted to. We didn't have a funeral for our daughter. Neither did these family members, but I know people who've had stillbirths, who've had funerals. That wasn't our route. So if for nothing else, just that compassion piece and being able to be there for somebody else who that's part of their story, that's part of their fate, that's part of their journey. So yeah.
And it just goes to show how powerful connection is, because to know that even when you're going through something is hard and is, impactful, is a situation like that, one of the worst things that can happen is you feeling like you're in it alone. Like no one will identify or know what you're going through. So when you have someone that does show up for you and that's like, it's okay, it gives you this strength, at least to be able to take one more step.
Yeah, that goes back to that tuning fork and embodying it. When you're embodying something and you're in at least a space that's more ideal or where they would want to be, even if it's 1 or 2 steps ahead, it gives them the strength. It helps. It helps them. Yeah,
yes, sure. Absolutely. So, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being in this space to be vulnerable and to be able to share that story, because I really truly believe that our experiences are what help others that may be going through something like that or know somebody that's going through something like that. That's what helps them getting through. And it's not easy sharing your story. It's not easy saying, okay, I'm going to be vulnerable in this moment, because what you want to do is self-protect, right? And you don't want to relive it. So thank you for sharing that with us, with our listeners. So how do you think your faith allows you to walk in your purpose?
So when I think about my purpose, I'm also thinking about some more parts of how I'm going to express my purpose in everyday life. And I'm thinking about other ways outside of doing hair to express my purpose, right? So my faith plays a part in knowing, and right now, me taking these steps and not knowing what the other side looks like and not knowing if it's going to financially support me. So I definitely have to have faith in these 2 new creative ventures that I feel like even more of my personality, I can share even more of who I am and spread even more love in harmony. However, the faith piece comes in because I'm not sure if that's something that's going to be financially like
Doable.
Lucrative.
Yes.
And I'm also not sure how I'm going to be able to actually have like a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But like you said, you put it out there.
It's like
it's not for you to know how it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know the hows right now.
Yeah.
The brain want
the
know
logic.
I need to know the brain want to know the hows. I end up getting
the mechanics, all of it, right?
Yeah, I ordered some samples and got some stuff in the mail like 2 days ago, and I still was kind of like, now am I still going? Now what's going?
Right.
Should I still?
And you're
so
like,
that's when the faith piece comes in.
Yeah.
Piece comes in, and then you'll get those little glimmers of hope where I went somewhere and somebody commented on it, and I said, okay, I'm gonna keep going, but I don't know how to get from the raw material and the thought and the idea and the end result of it being something tangible and being able to spread it and share it with people.
But he's telling you it's not for you to know.
Yeah.
You just have to be obedient.
That's a good part right there.
Trust me.
It's not always easy.
It's not.
Some of them instructions, you like, I'm going to ask you this one more again.
Right. Like, because
as if it's going to be a different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he wants you to trust and have faith.
Yeah.
In that. Yeah. So we are now going to go into Your face is
Because
like,
it's feeling like
what?
a never have I ever moment.
It's a real setup. Now I'm just gonna put it out there and be transparent with you.
Awesome.
But it's a real setup.
Probably be easier than my other questions. Okay. Go.
Yeah, you don't know that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, why are you looking at me like that? I feel very
my nose
intimidated.
started to itch now, so I feel like this is the whole energy about to change at this point.
Good. Okay, and you're gonna pick a question and you have 60 seconds to answer it.
Can I say pass or phone a friend?
No, you cannot use a lifeline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's how it works. Okay.
I gotta. Oh, I need my readers. What's gonna happen?
You said I'll read it. You want me to read it?
Oh no.
Okay, they want me to read it.
Okay.
I'm gonna read it. You're just like,
I'm like, I thought to bring my glasses. Okay.
okay, 60 seconds. Clock starts now. You just open your mobile banking app and see that $1 million has been deposited. What do you do next?
Well, I'm gonna get in the vehicle. I'm gonna go to the bank, and I'm just gonna make sure before I start spending, I need to just talk to people and make sure everything. Because I ain't got time to be paying nothing back after I done got on the plane and somewhere in Fiji or in Dubai. Like I don't want to be in Dubai and they like, oh, that was the wrong bank account. No. So I'm gonna get in the vehicle. I'm gonna take my ID and my passport, and I'm gonna go talk to the people and just make sure and try to figure out
You're
the
gonna
source
take
of
your ID and your passport on the way to the bank?
I'm going to the bank to let them know who I am and make sure that everything match up and the math is mathing. And if the money is mine,
Okay.
me and my baby is getting up on the plane on that day. We ain't even taking no luggage.
Because you don't need it.
Ain't gonna do it.
Right.
I'm gonna see what this. What's the international airport? Okay. What's leaving in the next 2 hours that I can get on properly and y'all can get me through the gate? That's what we doing.
Love it. And so where would you go?
So my first thought would be Dubai.
Ooh.
Right. I've been listening to this girl on YouTube, one of my favorite little inner work thought leaders, and she moved there, and I'm like kind of obsessed. I keep watching the same vlogs over and over again. My baby like, you watching that again?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to get the tune. I'm trying to get the energy of that.
That energy,
it would be, it would definitely be either Dubai or Greece. I'll go to Santorini.
Yeah. So when you're at the airport, call me and say, Harley, you got 30 minutes to get here.
I would.
Okay.
Or I'm gonna look and see the next flight. I'm gonna go ahead and pay for that and say, hey, just meet us there, sis. Do what you gotta do, because you got a lot of thoughts to, you got a lot of stuff to put in place. You ain't gonna be able to just do 30 minutes.
I'm there for it. Okay.
And I got you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much. Like this, it goes by so quick. It's like, and you know, we can go down that
Did
rabbit
good.
hole.
Last time we went over when we was by ourselves.
Exactly.
We got a crew to really listen.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story of purpose, of faith, how that has impacted you. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what's the next evolution of Poppy. Like, what's next? But if you go on a hiatus, know that
You still gonna come to the house?
Yes, I'm still coming to get my hair done.
Gotcha.
Okay?
It's a promise.
Thank
We're gonna be old ladies doing hair, talking about the things.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed our show today. Keep the conversation going. Leave a comment and share with your friends. We would love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, there's purpose in your story.